Rejection isn't the end of your story, my friends. It's the very spark that lights the fire of your rebirth. That's the truth most people don't want to face. They treat rejection like it's the final nail in the coffin, like the credits are rolling on their life movie. But let me break a lie right here and right now. Rejection doesn't define you. It refines you. It shapes you. It pulls away the illusion so you can finally see what you're made of. Listen, if you've ever been rejected by someone you loved, someone you admired, or someone you wanted, here's the hook. You're not broken. You've just been handed the greatest opportunity of your life. And before we dive deep, do me a favor. Press that like button, hit subscribe, because what we're about to unpack here isn't the usual get her back nonsense. This is about transformation, about power, about turning rejection into the exact thing they end up regretting. Hey folks, imagine this. You're at a poker table. Everyone's betting, bluffing, showing their cards too early. But then there's that one player who doesn't say a word, doesn't reveal a thing. He sits there calm, still, unreadable. You can't figure him out, and that mystery eats at you more than any flashy move ever could. That, my friends, is what rejection gives you. The power to become unreadable, to stop dancing for someone else's approval, and to start moving like the kind of man who doesn't need to prove a thing. The lie you've been told is this: when someone rejects you, it's because you weren't enough. Wrong. Rejection doesn't mean you're not enough. It means they couldn't see your value. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." So let me say it plain. It is not true that rejection lowers your worth. The only way it lowers you is if you hand them the keys and let them drive your emotions. Think about it. Most men, after rejection, become predictable. They send long messages, they try to explain themselves, they beg for a second chance. That's like throwing your crown on the ground and saying, "Here, step on it." My friends, kings don't beg. They rebuild, they rise. They use rejection like fuel. Let's get a little funny here. You ever seen a cat when you ignore it? Suddenly, the thing that didn't care about you 2 seconds ago is crawling all over you. That's human nature in a nutshell. We chase what pulls away. We desire what we don't fully understand. That's why your silence, your distance, your evolution hits harder than any apology or explanation ever could. Rejection, in fact, is just redirection. It's the universe's way of saying, not this door, not this moment. And if you're honest, haven't there been times in your life when you thought you lost something important, only to realize later you dodged a bullet? That's the perspective of strength. That's the mindset of a man who doesn't fold. So, my friends, don't sit in the ashes crying about why she said no or why they didn't choose you. Stand up, brush yourself off, and realize you've been handed the perfect moment to evolve. Every storm that tries to drown you is also the water that makes you grow. Every rejection is simply proof that you're too much for the wrong person. Stay with me, because in a moment we're going to break this down step by step. How to flip rejection into regret, how to walk away in silence, and how to rise in such a way that they won't just notice your absence, they'll feel it in their bones. Write this in the comments right now. Show it to the world. Show it to yourself. I rise stronger. Just 3 words, but they carry the weight of your rebirth. I rise stronger. And while you're at it, smash that like button, hit subscribe, because you're not here to be average. You're here to transform. Stay with me, folks. This is just the beginning. Number 1. Silence makes the loudest noise. Silence isn't empty, my friends. It's full of answers. That's a line most people overlook because they're addicted to noise, addicted to filling the air, addicted to reacting. But here's the truth. When they reject you, silence is not weakness. Silence is thunder without sound, an earthquake beneath their feet they never saw coming. It's the sharpest sword you'll ever wield, and yet most men are terrified of it. Think about this. Imagine a stage where a band is playing so loudly The audience barely notices one instrument drop out. But the moment the music cuts off completely, the silence slams harder than any note. It's deafening. Everyone stops. Everyone looks around. That's the kind of silence I'm talking about. When they expect your voice, your messages, your attention, your constant showing up, and instead all they get is nothing, that nothing becomes everything. But here's where fear creeps in. You're sitting there, rejected, and the first thought that floods your mind is, if I don't reach out, they'll forget me. If I don't explain myself, they'll never understand. If I stay silent, I'll lose them forever. That fear is a lie. That's your ego trembling. Let me break that lie for you. The truth is the opposite. The more you rush in with words, explanations, and noise, the faster they'll forget you. Why? Because you've made yourself predictable. Predictability breeds boredom, and boredom kills desire. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's exactly what silence does. It hands the power back to you. You're not reacting to their rejection. You're not bending to their choice. You're reclaiming your frame by saying nothing, and that nothing is what haunts them. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you drop a stone into a still lake. The ripples spread out endlessly, moving further and further, carrying the effect long after the stone sank. That's silence. A single choice to withdraw, to not chase, to not explain. It creates ripples in their mind. They start replaying the last conversation. They wonder why you didn't fight, why you didn't react. They expected a storm of emotions, but instead you gave them still water, and still water is where reflections happen. Here's the truth most men don't want to face: the urge to speak, to fight, to clarify after rejection. That urge isn't about strength, it's about fear. It's about proving to yourself you still matter. But my friends, if you truly matter, you don't need to prove it. And if you don't matter to them, why waste your breath? Silence separates the men who command respect from the boys who beg for attention. Let's go deeper. Silence is uncomfortable, not for you, but for them. They want a reaction. They want the satisfaction of seeing you break, because that confirms their decision had weight. When you stay silent, you deny them that comfort. You pull the rug out from under their ego. Suddenly, they're not in control of the script anymore. You are. And human nature hates unanswered questions. When you give them silence, you become the unanswered question that plays on repeat in their mind. Now, why is this so difficult for most people? Because silence feels like surrender. You think, if I don't say something, they'll think I don't care. And that right there is the shift. You're still trying to control what they think. You can't. Silence isn't about controlling their thoughts. It's about controlling yours. It's about breaking the cycle of reaction and standing in stillness like a mountain that doesn't move for anyone. Picture this. A candle flickers desperately in the wind, trying to survive. But the mountain doesn't care about the wind. It just stands. That's you when you embrace silence. You're not flickering to prove your flame. You're the mountain itself, unmoved, unshaken. And let me be blunt, silence is the rarest move in today's world. Everyone is online, everyone is oversharing, everyone is chasing validation, likes and replies. Noise is cheap, silence is scarce. And what's scarce, my friends, becomes valuable. When they can't hear from you, can't read you, can't predict you, suddenly they start to notice the absence. And absence, when it carries strength, is unforgettable. But don't mistake me. Silence isn't passive. It's not sitting in the dark hoping they'll come back. That's obsession disguised as strategy. Real silence is active. It's choosing to live, to build, to grow, while keeping your lips sealed. It's redirecting your energy from proving your worth to them into proving your worth to yourself. You're not waiting in silence. You're evolving in silence. And that's when the magic happens. Think about chess. Beginners move fast, reckless, always reacting. Masters, they know the power of waiting, of holding, of letting the other side crumble in confusion. That's you. Your silence is a master's move, and it's not a move against them. It's a move for you. Now here's what's coming next. Once you master silence, once you become comfortable in that void, you'll notice something. The world doesn't end. They don't forget you. In fact, the silence plants seeds of curiosity in their mind, seeds that grow into regret, into questioning, into replaying the very decision they thought was final. And that's when you realize silence isn't the absence of communication, it's the most powerful form of it. So don't give them the comfort of your reaction. Don't feed their ego with your explanations. Give them the gift of silence and let their mind do the work for you. It will whisper louder than any words you could have spoken. My friends, write this down in the comments right now. My silence is my power. Show it to the world. Show it to yourself. Show it to the ones who thought rejection could break you. Because once you embrace silence, you stop being the man they rejected, and you start becoming the man they regret losing. And stay with me, because this is just the first step. What comes next will make that silence echo even louder in ways they'll never forget. Number 2, stop being too available. If your presence is too easy, your absence will never be felt. Let that sink in, my friends. Too many men think that making themselves available at all times is a sign of love, loyalty, or consistency. They mistake accessibility for value. But here's the harsh truth. If you are always there, you become invisible. And when you're invisible, you'll never be respected, let alone desired. Imagine walking into a grocery store where candy bars are stacked floor to ceiling, piles and piles of them. You don't even think twice about their value because they're everywhere, cheap and easy to grab. Now imagine walking into a store and seeing a single rare piece of chocolate, beautifully wrapped, sitting alone under glass. You lean in, you wonder, you feel the weight of its scarcity. That's the difference, folks. When you make yourself endlessly available, you're like those candy bars, common, replaceable, forgettable. But when your time and energy are rare, you become unforgettable. Now, I know the questions circling in your head. But if I don't answer, won't they think I don't care? If I'm not there, won't they just move on? If I pull back, won't they find someone else? That, my friends, is fear talking. That's the voice of a man who doesn't yet realize his own worth. Because the truth is, when you are too available after rejection, you're not proving loyalty. You're proving you have nothing else going on. You're showing them that even when they pushed you away, your world still revolves around them. And that right there destroys attraction. Let me break another lie. Being always there doesn't make you look strong. It makes you look weak. It tells them you don't have options, you don't have purpose, you don't have boundaries. In the modern world, availability without conditions isn't romantic. It's low value. Picture a fortress with its gates always wide open. Anyone can walk in. Thieves, strangers, wanderers, they all stroll through because the gates never close. That fortress stops being a place of strength and becomes a free-for-all. That's what you do when you make yourself available after rejection. You're leaving the gates wide open and then wondering why no one respects what's inside. Let's hit it hard. When they reject you, your energy should become sacred. Not in some fake, forced way where you pretend to be busy, but in a real way where you actually live your life. Go to the gym, work on your craft, grow your money, build your circle, elevate your mind. That's not pretending, it's purpose. And purpose is always more attractive than availability. But here's where men stumble. They try to play the game by pulling back a little but then waiting by the phone, checking their messages, lurking on their stories. That's not scarcity. That's obsession with a mask on. Real scarcity means your energy isn't just reduced, it's redirected. They text you, You don't jump. They call you. You don't rush. They want to see you. You don't drop everything, not out of bitterness, but out of genuine priority. Your life is bigger than their rejection. Now, I won't lie, this is going to feel hard at first, because when you've been available, you've trained yourself to find comfort in it. You've tied your worth to being the man who's always there. Pulling back feels like ripping away a security blanket. But the discomfort is necessary. It's the fire that forges respect. Because the moment they realize you're not standing by anymore, the script flips. Suddenly, they're the ones who feel uncertainty. Suddenly, they're the ones who don't know if you'll answer. And that uncertainty, that's the seed of regret. Here's another image for you. Think of water dripping from a faucet. Drip, drip, drip. Annoying, predictable, constant. You don't value it. You just expect it. Now imagine walking into a desert with no water in sight. Suddenly, a single drop is priceless. That's what happens when you stop being too available. Your presence shifts from background noise to something rare, something they can't take for granted anymore. The philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." When you waste your time being endlessly available to those who don't value you, you're throwing away your most precious resource, your time, and if you don't value it, why should they? So, my friends, if they rejected you, don't stick around as their backup plan. Don't become their emotional safety net. Don't be the one they text when they're bored, lonely, or in need of attention. That's not a man's position. That's being managed like an option. And a man who allows himself to be managed will never be respected. From now on, stop giving them what they didn't appreciate. Stop being their comfort zone. Step back. Hold your ground. Show them by your actions that your time, your presence, and your attention are not on sale. Because when they realize you no longer hand it out freely, that's when they start to see its value. Write this in the comments right now. My energy is sacred. Show yourself. Show the world. Show anyone who thought they could dismiss you and still keep you around. Because the man who stops being too available isn't bitter, he's rare, and rare is remembered. Stay with me, because this is only the second move. What comes next will take that scarcity and make it echo in ways they'll never be able to forget. Number 3, give them nothing to work with. The less they know, the more they think. My friends, this is where most men fail after rejection. They hand over every thought, every feeling, every emotional update as if it were free samples at a store. They think that by pouring out their heart, by showing exactly where they stand, they'll earn respect, or maybe even change someone's mind. But let's cut through the lies right now. Clarity is comfort, and comfort kills curiosity. When you make yourself an open book, you take away the mystery. And without mystery, there's no magnetism. Think of a poker table. The weakest player is the one whose every emotion shows on his face. Fear, excitement, frustration. You can read him like a children's book. He has no edge. Now look at the master, the one who sits calm, blank, unreadable. You don't know if he's holding a winning hand or nothing at all. That mystery drives everyone else crazy. That's you, my friends. After rejection, you don't hand them the script. You become the unreadable player who reveals nothing, yet controls everything. But here's the trap men fall into. Rejection hits and fear takes over. Questions start swirling. What if they forget about me? What if they think I don't care? What if my silence makes me look weak? That's your ego begging for validation. That's the little voice saying, tell them something, show them you're still here. And so you post subliminal quotes online, you like their stories, you drop hints in your updates, all in the hope they'll notice. But here's the truth, every time you drop a breadcrumb, you give them the comfort of knowing you're still orbiting their world. And if they know you're orbiting, they never have to miss you. Let me break it bluntly. You don't unsettle someone by feeding them clues. You unsettle them by vanishing into calm, cold silence where their imagination does the heavy lifting. Because the human mind hates blank spaces. When you give them nothing, their thoughts scramble to fill in the gaps. They start asking themselves, why hasn't he said anything? Did he move on already? Was he never that invested? Why can't I read him anymore? That's how regret grows, not because you begged for it, but because you withheld every drop of your energy. Here's the key difference. Indifference says, I don't care. Emotional distance says, I care, but I won't hand you the power of seeing it. Indifference is cold and often bitter. Emotional distance is calm and controlled. You feel what you feel, but you master it privately. And that restraint, my friends, that's what shakes them, because they expected chaos, they expected mess, they expected you to break. But instead you stood silent, steady, unreadable. That image sticks harder than any emotional outburst. Picture this. You walk past a locked safe, heavy, steel, unmovable. You don't know what's inside, and that not knowing eats at you more than anything. You could walk past a pile of coins on the floor and not blink, but that locked safe? You'll keep thinking about it. That's the power of giving nothing to work with. You become the locked safe. They can't read you, can't guess you, can't predict you. And what people can't predict, they can't forget. Now let's be real. It's difficult to hold this frame. It's difficult not to text, not to explain, not to throw little signals to remind them you're alive. Because silence feels like surrender. But understand this, your silence isn't surrender. It's strategy. It's reclaiming your worth by refusing to hand it away like loose change. Marcus Aurelius once said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you keep dyeing your mind with thoughts of proving yourself, you'll stain your own self-worth. But if you dye your thoughts with discipline, with stillness, with control, your presence becomes stronger even in your absence. And here's the magic. When you give them nothing to work with, you're not just confusing them. You're freeing yourself. You're no longer living in reaction to their decisions. You're no longer shaping your identity around how they see you. You're moving with power, not permission. That's the difference between being rejected and being unforgettable. So, my friends, next time rejection comes, resist the urge to spill your feelings. Resist the temptation to post for their eyes. Don't hand them your emotions wrapped on a silver platter. Let them wonder. Let them question. Let their mind write stories that don't exist, because those stories will torment them more than your words ever could. Write this in the comments right now. I am unreadable. Show yourself. Show the world. Show them that you're no longer a man who can be figured out in a glance. You're the safe they can't open, the silence they can't escape, the presence they can't erase. And stay with me, because the next step will take this mystery even deeper. It's not just about giving them nothing. It's about disappearing in a way that rewrites the entire story they thought they controlled. Number 4, disappear without warning. Absence sharpens love. Presence strengthens it. But my friends, when someone rejects you, the greatest shock you can give isn't a speech, isn't a long explanation, and isn't some grand emotional scene. It's disappearance. Vanishing quietly, without warning, without closure, without a single sign of bitterness. That move is powerful because it disrupts the pattern they were depending on. They thought they had the final word, but then suddenly you're just gone. Think of a magician on stage. The show is loud, full of lights and noise, but the moment he makes something vanish into thin air, the whole crowd gasps. It's not the tricks they remember most, it's the disappearance. That's the move that keeps them awake later, wondering how it happened, where it went, why they can't stop thinking about it. That's you when you disappear after rejection. You become the mystery they didn't prepare for. Now, I know what's running through your head. But won't disappearing make me look weak? Won't they just think I gave up? Won't they forget me if I don't remind them I exist? That fear is the lie most men believe, and it's the lie that keeps them trapped. They think staying visible means staying relevant. But visibility without value is nothing. If you're always hanging around after rejection, liking their posts, checking their stories, sending the occasional text, you're not showing strength. You're showing you can't let go, and that makes you forgettable. Disappearing without warning is hard because it demands you give up the need for closure. Humans crave explanations. We want the other person to know our side, to understand how much we cared, to feel guilty for what they did. But listen carefully. Closure isn't something they give you. Closure is something you give yourself, and the fastest way to claim it is to vanish, to stop explaining, to stop proving, to stop handing them your energy. Picture this, a lighthouse standing tall by the shore, its light guiding ships every night. Suddenly, one evening, without announcement, the light is gone. Ships at sea start to panic. They scan the horizon. They wonder what happened. Did the lighthouse fall? Did the keeper abandon it? That absence creates chaos. That's you when you disappear. You were always shining, always present, and then without warning, you're dark, untraceable, out of sight. That darkness is louder than any speech you could have made. And here's the truth. People don't miss what's always there. They miss what's suddenly gone. When you disappear, you rip away the certainty they had. You remove yourself from their daily feed, from their digital space, from their emotional radar. No, we can still be friends. No checking in on birthdays, no half-hearted goodbyes, just gone. And that kind of disappearance creates a loop in their mind that plays over and over. Why did he just stop? Why didn't he fight? Did he already move on? Was I not as important as I thought? That loop is the sound of regret beginning to take root. Now let me break the lie. Disappearing doesn't mean hiding. It doesn't mean sulking in your room, waiting for them to notice. That's obsession in disguise. Real disappearance is transformation. While you're gone, you're building, you're leveling up, you're sharpening your body, your mind, your purpose. You're not absent, you're elevating. The man who disappears without warning and then returns months later as an unrecognizable version of himself, that's the man who leaves an impression they'll never erase. This is why disappearing works. It denies them access. They expected you to still be there as an option, a backup plan, an emotional cushion. But suddenly, you're not. You've taken back your energy, your presence, your attention, and they can't reach you anymore. And when people lose access to what they took for granted, that's when the weight of regret hits hardest. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Stop wasting your time orbiting someone who dismissed you. Stop wasting your life waiting to be noticed. Instead, disappear into your purpose, build in silence, grow in strength, return as a man they no longer even recognize. And when that happens, they won't just remember you, they'll regret ever thinking they could dismiss you. So, my friends, let this be your move. No announcement, no warnings, no drawn-out exits, just disappear. And while you're gone, transform. Because when they look back and see only silence where you used to be, that silence will echo louder than any words you could have spoken. Write this in the comments right now. I disappear to evolve. Show the world, show yourself, show anyone who ever thought rejection would break you. Because the man who disappears doesn't vanish into nothing. He rises into everything. And stay with me, because the next move will strike even deeper. It's about refusing to ever fix their decision, and that's where the real shift begins. Number 5. Never try to fix their decision. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Maya Angelou said that, and my friends, It hits harder in the context of rejection than almost anywhere else. Because here's the truth. When they reject you, most men's first instinct is to fix it. They scramble, they explain, they negotiate. They send long messages trying to convince, trying to reopen a door that was slammed shut. But let me break the lie. Every time you try to fix their decision, you don't raise your value, you destroy it. Think of shattered glass on the floor. You can pick up the pieces, cut your hands, glue it together, try to make it look like it once did. But no matter how hard you try, it will never be the same. It will always carry cracks, scars, and sharp edges. That's what happens when you try to fix rejection. You're piecing together something that has already broken, and in the process, you cut yourself deeper. Now I know the fear that creeps in. But if I don't explain, they won't understand me. If I don't try, maybe I'll lose them forever. If I don't fight, doesn't that mean I didn't care? No, my friends, that's your ego begging for validation, not your soul seeking strength. You don't lose them forever by not fixing it. You lose yourself forever by trying. Because every time you plead, every time you justify, you're handing them proof that their decision was right. You're saying, yes, you had the power. Yes, you had the control. Yes, I'm willing to beg for my place. And nothing kills attraction faster than seeing someone negotiate their own worth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, that's your call here. Stop arguing about whether they made the right choice. Stop explaining why they should reconsider. Stop wasting time debating their decision. Just be the man who doesn't need it fixed. Because the man who accepts rejection with silence, who carries himself forward without begging, that man isn't crushed, he's commanding." Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine a general on the battlefield. One of his men deserts him. Does he chase him across the fields yelling, begging him to come back? No. He keeps his eyes forward, leads the army, and lets the deserter live with the weight of his choice. That's you. When they reject you, you don't go chasing deserters. You march forward, head high, mission intact. But here's where most men trip. They confuse fixing with strength. They think sending that message is maturity. They think asking for closure is emotional intelligence. But let's be clear, real strength doesn't chase clarity. Real strength creates clarity by walking away without hesitation. Closure isn't something you request, it's something you embody. And here's what happens when you refuse to fix their decision. They expect you to plead. They expect you to double back. They expect you to make their ego feel powerful for rejecting you, but instead you vanish into silence. You don't fight. You don't explain. You don't return. And that's when the doubt creeps in. Why didn't he chase? Did he not care? Did I misjudge him? Was I not as valuable as I thought? That doubt is the seed of regret. Discipline yourself to let the door close completely. Don't peek back through the cracks. Don't leave it ajar with little what-if texts. Slam it shut with silence. And here's the beauty. By refusing to fix their choice, you force them to live with it. You make them carry the full weight of their own decision without cushioning it with your comfort. That's not bitterness. That's dignity. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Rejection is that trial. The friction isn't meant to break you, it's meant to polish you, and trying to fix it dulls the shine. But walking away with calm, refusing to negotiate, refusing to beg, that polishes you into something rare. So my friends, never again try to fix their decision. Don't send the text. Don't ask mutual friends what they're saying. Don't circle back for another chance. Let it burn. Let it die. Let it end without your fingerprints trying to hold it together, because the moment you accept their rejection with silence, you stop being the man they dismissed, and you start being the man they question. Write this in the comments right now. I don't negotiate my worth. Show it to yourself. Show it to the world. Show it to anyone who thought they could reject you and still hold your energy hostage. Because the man who doesn't try to fix rejection is the man who becomes unforgettable. Stay with me, because the next step will take this to another level. When you become hard to reach, that's when the real storm begins. Number 6. Become hard to reach. Anything that is easily accessed is rarely respected. My friends, this one cuts deep because too many men live as if their attention is a free trial everyone can use whenever they want. They think being available at all times shows loyalty or care, but the truth is simple. If you are always there, you lose all weight. When they know they can reach you anytime, they stop valuing your presence. But when you become hard to reach, you shift from being an option to being a mystery. And mystery, folks, is unforgettable. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a door that's always wide open. People wander in and out without thought. They don't wipe their feet. They don't knock. They don't care, because access is free. Now picture a door with golden locks, heavy wood, guarded by silence. People hesitate. They wonder what's behind it. They start to value the very act of being let inside. That's the difference between being easy to access and becoming hard to reach. Here's the lie most men believe. If I don't respond quickly, they'll think I don't care. If I don't show up, they'll replace me. If I don't make myself available, I'll lose them forever. But the truth is the opposite. When you're always available, you train them to treat you as background noise. When you become scarce, you force them to pay attention. Scarcity breeds value. Scarcity creates urgency. Scarcity builds respect. Think about it like water. If you live next to a running river, you don't notice it anymore. You expect it, you take it for granted. But if you're stranded in a desert, one single drop becomes priceless. That's what happens when you pull back your availability. Your presence stops being the river they ignore and becomes the rare water they crave. Now, let's be real. This is hard because most men are conditioned to be good guys. They're told to always answer, always show up, always give the benefit of the doubt. And so when rejection happens, instead of creating distance, they double down. They're more available than ever. They'll answer late-night texts. They'll jump at every call. They'll stand by like a backup generator, waiting for her to need them. But listen, that's not love. That's slavery to validation. That's telling them, you can dismiss me, but I'll still be here. And nothing kills attraction faster than that. When you become hard to reach, it's not about being rude or bitter. It's about building a life so full of purpose that you don't have time to be everyone's second option. You're in the gym, you're on your grind, you're reading, you're building, you're living. So when they try to access you, you're not instantly there. Not because you're playing games, but because your life is bigger than their rejection. That's what makes it powerful. It's real. Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." My friends, when you're always available to the one who rejected you, you're not living, you're waiting. And waiting is the slow death of your spirit. Living means you're focused, you're scarce, and your presence is earned, not given away. Here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop being easy to reach, that's when they start reaching. At first, they'll feel relief at rejecting you. They'll think, he'll still be around if I need him. But weeks later, when you're nowhere to be found, when your attention is no longer there to fill their boredom, when you've vanished into purpose, they'll feel it. They'll wonder. They'll start checking. And curiosity is a powerful hook. Now, don't mistake this. Becoming hard to reach doesn't mean blocking them, posting subliminals, or ignoring them on purpose while secretly stalking their page. That's fake. That's obsession wearing a mask. Real scarcity is clean. It's not about pretending. It's about genuinely not being there because your energy is invested elsewhere. That's what shakes them. That's what gets under their skin. So remember this: if they rejected you, don't remain their safety net. Don't let them have easy access to your attention, your emotions, or your presence. Pull it back, guard it, value it. Because when you become hard to reach, you stop being predictable and start being unforgettable. Write this in the comments right now. My time is rare. Show it to the world. Show it to yourself. Show it to anyone who thought they could dismiss you and still have you waiting in the shadows. Because the man who becomes hard to reach isn't being petty, he's being powerful. And stay with me, because the next move will sharpen this even further, leveling up in silence, building in ways they can't see, and becoming someone they no longer even recognize. Number 7. Level up in silence. Work hard in silence. Let success make the noise. My friends, this one right here is the dagger. Most people think that when they get rejected, the only way to prove their worth is to put it on display. They flood social media with pictures at the gym, new outfits, big smiles, flashy updates. They're desperate to scream, "Look at me now. Look what you lost." But let me break that lie. You don't create regret by performing. You create regret by evolving so quietly, so relentlessly, that by the time they see you again, you're unrecognizable. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. Nobody claps for it, nobody watches it, nobody even notices it's there. But day by day, silently, it grows roots, strengthens its base, and prepares to rise. And then one day, out of nowhere, it breaks through the ground, strong, undeniable, impossible to ignore. That's you, my friends. After rejection, you don't make noise to prove you're growing. You grow in silence, underground, until the day you rise as something they can't even believe is the same man they once dismissed. Now, here's the fear that holds most men back. If I don't show them I'm improving, they won't notice. If I don't post, they'll think I'm stuck. If I don't prove it, how will they regret it? That's your ego crying out for attention. But listen, if you're still performing for them, you're still tied to their approval. And a man chained to approval can never be free. True freedom, true strength, is when you grow because it's who you are, not because you want them to see. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's what leveling up in silence is all about. Stop trying to argue with your results online. Stop trying to debate your worth in posts and updates. Just become the man, quietly, relentlessly, without fanfare. Picture this. 2 blacksmiths are working. One bangs loudly, showing off the sparks, inviting the crowd to watch. The other works quietly, steadily, no audience, no noise. Months later, the first man's sword is bent and broken, while the second man's blade is sharp, flawless, unbreakable. That's the difference between noise and silence. Don't be the man chasing sparks. Be the man forging steel in private. This is where the regret begins. Because they rejected one version of you. The version they thought they understood. The version they thought they could replace. But when you disappear and return silently evolved, stronger body, sharper mind, focused purpose, they're forced to face a painful reality. They no longer even know the man standing in front of them. That unfamiliarity, that sense of distance, is what haunts them. Here's what makes silent leveling up so powerful. It isn't for them, it's for you. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving a point. It's about shifting your energy back to where it always should have been. Yourself. You stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop performing. Instead, you invest in the gym, your money, your discipline, your mind. You invest in becoming untouchable. And that's when you stop being the rejected man and start being the man they'll never forget. And let's be real. When you level up in silence, people notice anyway. Not because you told them, but because results are louder than words. You walk into a room with different energy. You carry yourself differently. Your presence shifts, and trust me, they'll hear about it. They'll see it. They'll feel it. You don't need to broadcast your glow up. The glow speaks on its own. Seneca once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Stop craving their eyes on you. Stop craving their recognition. Focus instead on abundance, on becoming rich in discipline, in growth, in purpose. Because the man who grows in silence becomes dangerous. Not because he's angry, but because he's untouchable. So my friends, let this be your final move. Don't just vanish, evolve. Don't just step back, rise. Don't just survive rejection. Use it as the exact spark that turns you into someone they can no longer reach, no longer read, no longer take for granted. By the time they realize what they lost, you'll be too far ahead to look back. Write this in the comments right now. I evolve in silence. Show it to the world. Show it to yourself. Show it to anyone who thought rejection would break you. And if you felt this message, if you're ready to transform rejection into regret, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a brother who needs it. Because this isn't just about dating, it's about rising, it's about becoming. And this, my friends, is just the beginning of your story.